Game of Thrones Season 2 begins with the War of the Five Kings. Joffrey Baratheon, of course, he's really a Lannister because his mom had incest sex with their twin brother, and that's why he's such a douche. His uncle Tyrion is a dwarf. He comes to town. He's like, hey, Big Bad Daddy Tywin sent me to be the hand of the king, so I'm going to run things. Cersei doesn't like this one bit because she likes to be in charge. Now, King number 2, King in the North, Robb Stark, is marching to avenge his father, Ned Stark, who was killed last season. He sends his mom, Catelyn, to go meet with King number 3, who is Renly Baratheon, the younger brother of Fat King Robb, who died last season. They're having a little tournament, and the winner is a chick. It's Brienne of Tarth. The guy she beat is Sir Loras Tyrell, Knight of the Flowers, which is King Renly's gay lover, and his sister is Margaery Tyrell, which is the new queen. The Tyrells are a powerful family we didn't really meet before, but they're strong. Now, she comes in, she's like, you gotta put a baby in me. I know you're super gay though, so if you want, I'll get my brother to come in. So he's offered a gay devil's threesome, but he declines. He talks to Cat, who's like, you should ally with Robb because we both hate the Lannisters. He says, yes, but for Stannis Baratheon, his older brother. Now he's, no one likes him except for his odd trusted advisor Davos, and this priestess, Melisandre, who says the night is dark and full of terrors. Now across the sea, it's Khaleesi, Daenerys Targaryen. She has dragons now, but they're babies, so they're useless. She also has a gruff older advisor, Ser Jorah Mormont, but unlike Stannis's, he wants to bang her. She makes it to the city called Karth, and she meets this black guy who's like, yo, look at that ass, we gotta let her in. Now, the Night's Watch, Jon Snow is here. They're going north. They stop at this guy Craster's house, who has a bunch of daughters. They're also, though, his wives, so that's more incest. Sam, though, is not scared because he meets a hot one named Jilly, and he falls in love. Now, Arya Stark is disguised as a boy. She's traveling north. She's got a fat friend also named Hot Pie, and a hot friend named Gendry, who is a bastard of the Fat King Robb. So they come looking for him one day because Stannis sent a letter to everyone in the realm saying that Joffrey is an incest baby. So Joffrey's killing all the bastards of Fat King Robb. And so they kill the people here. They burn this cart, and Arya saves them, so that'll be important in a little bit. And they kill this poor kid because they think he is Gendry. Sucks for him, and they take these guys prisoner. Now, Sansa is still engaged to Joffrey, and he enjoys tormenting her in front of the whole court for fun, but Tyrion puts a stop to it because he's sort of a nice guy. Now, Tyrion brought his horse Shay with him, even though his dad specifically told him not to because he hates horse, but Tyrion's sort of falling in love, so, you know, that's good for him. Now, he has a plot going on. He meets with the big players. That's Maester Pycelle, the old guy, Varys, the spider, he's a eunuch, and Littlefinger, Peter Baelish, he's master of coin. And he tells them all that he's going to marry the Princess Myrcella to someone different. But don't tell Cersei. Of course, Cersei finds out immediately. And she's like, how dare you marry her to the Prince of Dorne? Who'd you tell Dorne to? Maester Pycelle. So he cuts off his beard, sends him to the dungeons. And he sends Myrcella off to Dorne, wherever that is. And Cersei's like, I'm going to kill you one day for taking my daughter away from me. Joffrey is on the way home, he gets hit by poop, and then it's full-on riot mode, class warfare, they rip off an arm, oh my god. The VIPs make it away to safety, except Sansa, who's in for, unfortunately, a bit of a rape, but she's saved by Sandor Clegane, the Hound. He's Joffrey's bodyguard, and he's sort of a mean guy, but she's like, yo, thanks for saving me from rape, and he says something pretty creepy because he's really bad with girls. Now, the Baratheon brothers are having a powwow. Stannis is like, I'm older, so I'm the rightful king. Renly's like, I'm better looking, so I should be king, haha. Now, what's the deal with Melisandre? Are she and Stannis banging? Yes, they are. So they have some sex, and then he's like, Davos, you used to be a smuggler, take her to shore. Oh my god, she's pregnant. Oh my god, she's giving birth to a shadow baby. What is happening? It sneaks in and kills Renly. Oh god. So Catelyn Stark's like, Brienne, we gotta get out of here. She doesn't know what to do with her life anymore, so she pledged herself to Catelyn, good girl power. Now, Renly's army mostly goes to Stannis, except for the Tyrells are like, whatever, we picked the wrong king. Littlefinger shows up. He's like, yo, Marjorie, do you still want to be a queen? She's like, no, I want to be the queen. So they have a plot. Now, the Iron Islands, that's where Theon Greyjoy is from. Now, remember, he was a ward of the Starks. He grew up like a brother to Robb. He's like, let me go talk to my dad, get him on our side. This girl's like, I'll take you to the castle. He's like, yeah, you will. So they get a little frisky on the horse ride over, and then she's like, I'm your sister, surprise! Oh, incest, more. Anyway, they meet King number 5, which is Lord Balon Greyjoy of the Iron Islands, and Theon's like, yo, let's join with Robb. He's like, bitch, don't tell me what to do. I do what I want. I'm going to attack the North, so you better pick which family you want, Theon. So he chooses his Iron Island natural-born family. Now, up in Winterfell, Bran Stark is super bored. He's hanging out with old guys. His only friend is this big retard Hodor and this dirty chick, Asha. But he does have dreams where he is a wolf, so that's cool. Now, they come to like a nearby village is under attack, so he's like, send all the guards. And of course, Theon comes. He's like, haha, that was my plot. Now I've captured Winterfell. And to prove it, he cuts off this guy's head. So poor Theon has gone to the dark side. And Robb's like, that douche, I'm going to march up there and reconquer Winterfell. But this lord's like, no, I got some men up there. Like, you stay here. So Robb stays here to fight the Lannisters. And he meets this hot nurse chick from wherever. And they amputate a guy's foot together, which like really turns him on. So then they start having some sex. And his mom's like, Robb, you're engaged to one of Walder Frey's ugly daughters because back in season 1 you had to cross this bridge. And he's like, whatever, I'm going to marry for love. I'm sure that'll be fine. Now, the Night's Watch meets up with Qhorin Halfhand, who's the legendary ranger. He takes Jon Snow with him to go ambush some wildlings, and it's a hot chick. He's like, look, we got to kill her, but instead of watching you do it, we're going to let you do it alone. And of course, Jon can't do it because he's a puss, and he, catches her, but now they're separated from his friends. So they play the old, we got to cuddle for warmth game, and then they play the old, is that a boner in your pants, you just happy to see me game. Anyway, they go to sleep. Now, Daenerys is at like a garden party, and she meets this weird-looking guy who is a warlock and can duplicate himself, so okay, that's fine. Now, the black guy's like, look, I am the richest man in the world here in my vault, and I'll take you with me if you marry me to conquer the realm. But he's like, no, don't marry him. And she's like, why not? He's like, because I have a secret crush on you. And she's like, no, we're just friends. And he's like, oh, I'm so sad. And she's like, no, but I'll stroke your beard. So whatever, sucks for him. Now, this chick gets naked for Theon, and they have sex, but then she sneaks off in the middle of the night and takes the guys and Hodor with him. So Theon wakes up. I don't know why she had to sleep with him, by the way, for that plot to work. Anyway, Theon is like, this is what happens. Oh my god, he burned Bran alive. He's the worst. Okay, Arya, though, is taken to Harrenhal, which is this big burnt-out castle the Lannisters have, and they play fun games here, like the Rat in the Bucket and the Fire game, so that's awesome. But Big Bad Daddy, Tywin Lannister, shows up, and he's like, oh, this is a girl, by the way. She doesn't know it's Arya Stark, but he makes her his cupbearer, so they have some fun. And this is Jaqen H'ghar, the guy she saved from the burning cage fire, and he's like, a girl stole 3 names from the Red God and must give a man 3 names, whatever. She's like, how about the guy who tortures people with rats? Boom, he's dead! What? Yeah, Jaqen H'ghar is this master assassin dude. So unfortunately, she wastes her second name on this guy who doesn't even matter. And she's going to use the third one on Tywin, but he's out before it happens. So he's like, a man needs a third name. And she's like, Jaqen H'ghar. And he's like, oh, girl gives a man his own name. You're a bitch. She's like, okay, I'll unname you if you help me and my friends escape. So he's like, fine, walk through the gates at midnight. The guards will be dead. Her and her friends are out. So now, Jaime Lannister, the Kingslayer, he was captured, remember? And so one day, though, he beats his cousin to death and he strangles this guy and he escapes for like 5 minutes. And Lord whatever is like, that was my son that you killed. And he's like, I'm going to kill you. But Catelyn's like, no, we got a traitor, a hostage exchange for my daughters. So she goes that night and she's like, look, I better release you right now before they kill you. So she sends him with Brienne down to King's Landing to trade for Sansa. So it's their plan. Now Stannis the Manus is coming for King's Landing. And because Tywin is fighting Robb Stark in the north, Tyrion has to defend the city with like almost no guards. But he's like, yo, let's make all this wildfire. And so when Stannis' fleet arrives, they send one boat, which is like super suspicious. And it's like leaking this green stuff. And then Tyrion is like, fire. And then Bronn's like, boom, awesome shot. Bam, explosion, wildfire everywhere. Davos, dude, hit by the explosion. So that was really cool. Now, Stannis survives, and he's still got a bunch of an army left, so they're like, we're going to storm the castle. And so they send the Hound out with some men to, like, fight them off, and that's going really well, until the Hound sees, like, all this fire, and he's scared of fire, because his face is all burnt from when he was a kid, so he decides to bail and go creep on Sansa. He's like, yo, girl, like, I'll take you back up to your family if you want. And she's like, I don't really trust you because you're ugly and stuff, so sucks for him. Now, Tyrion has to defend the city, and he's like, gives a really rousing speech, and it's really good. They're all like half man, so he's a really good leader, and they are doing it, and then this guy is on his side. But he cuts him! What? His face is slashed up, he's gonna kill him, but he's saved by his loyal squire, Podrick Payne, who has had 0 lines so far in the season. Now, this army comes, it's Lannister reinforcements, Big Bad Daddy, Tywin Lannister. He tricked everyone. They thought he was going north, he came south to save the city. And now that he's here, it's like, okay, you get to be hand of the king now. Thanks for saving the city. And the Tyrells came. They joined forces with the Lannisters. And he's like, yo, bro, you should marry my sister. She's like, yeah, I promised to wear super low-cut dresses all the time. And he's like, yeah, this is good. And so Sansa's off the hook now. She's no longer engaged. But Littlefinger's like, look, he's still going to torture you and stuff, so I'll take you back north to your family if you want. But we saw how trusting Littlefinger worked for Ned last season. I wouldn't do it. And so for a broker in the Tyrell Alliance, they make him Lord of Harrenhal, which is like a thing in name only, but that's good for him. And Tyrion, unfortunately, gets no love. It was Cersei who tried to have him killed. And he's got this big scar now. But his Horshay is still like, hey, I still love you. And so that's why whores are great, because as long as you have money, they still love you. And Stannis is like, woman, you said you saw my victory in the flames. And she's like, I still do, look. And he's like, ooh, pretty fire. So that's his thing. Now, Jon Snow wakes up with a huge morning wood boner, and she's like, do you even know what to do with that, Jon Snow? And he's like, yeah, of course. And she gets to say her tagline, which is, you know nothing, Jon Snow. And then she runs away and meets up with some wildling friends, and they take him captive, and like they also have Corran Halfhand. And he's like, Jon Snow, you got to go undercover as a wildling. He's like, how will I do that? Well, if we have this fake fight and you kill me, they'll totally trust you. And it's like, is that going to work? Yeah, that works. We totally trust you now. So they're going to take him up to the king beyond the wall, Mance Rayder, and the wildling army. Now, Daenerys comes home, everyone's dead. The dragons are gone. Where are my dragons? That's her line. And they're like, call the town meeting to find out. And the warlock's like, yeah, I took your dragons, I'll tell you. And the black guy's like, yeah, I'm working with him. It's like, why are you telling us this? Boom, everyone's dead. So she goes and finds the warlock tower, and they play the many doors game. So behind one door is the Iron Throne of Westeros, which is covered in snow, and behind another door is her dead husband called Drogo with a baby. Yay! But she bails and finds her dragons, but then they have kept her prisoner, and they're like, and she's like, Dracarys. And then dragon fire, burned alive. Don't mess with Khaleesi. She's like, yo, black guy, where's your money? Her vault's actually empty, so she locks him inside, and then she steals the silverware. She's gonna buy a boat. Yay. Now, Theon Greyjoy is surrounded with his little troop of Iron Men, so he gives a rousing speech, but they actually just, knock him out, and they're like, we don't really like you, Theon, we're going to trade you for our freedom. But beneath the crypts of Winterfell are the girl and Bran. Oh my god, he's alive! And thank goodness Hodor's alive also, but Winterfell's all burned, so they are going to wander off to the wall or something. And Arya is also wandering the countryside with her friends, meets up with Jaqen H'ghar, who's like, yo, girl, you want to be a master assassin like me? And she's like, yeah, of course. So he's like, look, take this coin and say Valar Morghulis. And she's like, Valar Morghulis? He's like, yeah, now watch this magic trick. Boom! New face! How do you do it? I don't know. It's cool. Now, these Night's Watch are shoveling some snow, and they find these dragon-glass daggers, which will matter next season. And the horn sounds that they're under attack, and Sam falls because he's fat. And who's attacking them? It's anorexic Santa Claus, who's a White Walker that's leading an army of ice zombies. Oh my god! And that's the way Season 2 comes to an end.